Good morning. This is from a book called We Are the Socks, and I'm not going to try to attempt to explain why the title is that, but it's by a Baptist minister, peacemaker, conflict transformer named Daniel Buttry, who's a friend of Dawn's. I met him at a birthday party she had a couple years ago, and good Godfather. If you've heard of people like Marshall Rosenberg, nonviolent communication guy, and any international peacemaker, this guy is up there with them. He is just awesome. Anyway, this is one of his books, and this is a story, one of his many wonderful stories. Let me speak was the message that resonated most powerfully with me during the Global Baptist Peace Conference held in Rome, Italy in February 2009. The message was not delivered in a plenary address or sermon. It was not on the program. It did not come from one of the significant global peacemaking figures we had arranged as plenary speakers. Rather, this message erupted during a question and answer period following the plenary presentation by Gustavo Parajon, who was from Nicaragua, a pastor and medical doctor who played a key mediation role in ending the war in Nicaragua, one of my greatest heroes. The Reverend Sinin Ngindu Bindanda, a Baptist pastor from Congo who served an immigrant church in Milan, got up to ask a question, which turned into a long statement about the war in Congo. Reverend Bindanda was well-spoken, but clearly not responding to Gustavo's presentation. The moderator finally tried to cut him off and press for the question. Reverend Bindanda kept making his point. The moderator then approached the microphone to take it away. Reverend Bindanda then said clearly and firmly, "Let me speak." He was proud, gentle, and yet insistent. He continued on, determined to say what he wanted to say. Finally, the moderator gave up and let him finish. After Reverend Bindanda concluded, Gustavo responded with his own eloquent wisdom about what had just happened. He said that one of the most important things for people from small countries, perhaps small in terms of global power, not necessarily geographic size, is the need to find a voice. This Congolese pastor raised his voice and was determined to have his say. What he said was something we needed to hear, as the war in Congo was the bloodiest on the planet since World War II, yet it got very little attention, even in a peace conference. Reverend Bindanda's voice was speaking out for the millions of voiceless from one of the most marginalized places in the world. Raising the voices from the margins proved to be a critical part of that conference in Rome. So often I have taught alone or with colleagues about mainstreams and margins. We study stories from the Bible and then share stories from our histories about people from incredibly marginalized positions finding the courage and creativity to raise their voices. Nonviolent direct action has often made this possible. Again and again, I've seen the margins stand up across the world and raise their powerful voices, demanding attention, demanding justice, and demanding peace. When a voice is raised from the margin near us, we have a choice. We can act like the moderator and try to maintain proper order, our order. Or we can be like Gustavo Parajon. He didn't relate from his position as a big global peace figure. Instead, he connected to his experience at the margin, being from a small country that knows what it is like to be beaten up by bigger powers and ignored in its travails. He heard the voice from the margin with ears sensitized by his own marginal experiences. He supported and affirmed the right of the margin to speak, helping to create enough space for the voice to be heard. We all have that place within us that can awaken our empathy so we can hear the voices crying out around us. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. We'll continue now with our meditation.